Hey guys, welcome back to Max Stack Motorsports. Yeah, we're here again with the GTI. So yeah, we're gonna do some wiring today for the fan. So you can see the fan here. Everything's installed. There's the beautiful horn bracket. Oh, what a beautiful fabrication that was. Anyway, so yeah, this is our fan right here that we're gonna be wiring up. We're gonna be doing a relay, using a relay kit with a manual override switch. So I'm just trying to look at the fan itself if I can see how much amperage it is, but no, it should be okay though. Anyway, so for this fan itself, this is our power wire, this is our ground, and then I mean, that's the first thing you're gonna obviously want to get. Second is this is a relay, so this is a 40 amp relay, and I think I'm gonna mount it. I'm gonna try to self tap it somewhere over here, just cause yeah, just cause, like, I don't know, I've always done my cars like that. Just gonna take this air filter off quickly. You can see that I started some of the wiring yesterday, just because the battery on the camera ran out. But anyways, yeah, so you're gonna want to go out and get one of these relays. So this is just a Novita. I got this from Canadian Tire. But I'm sure you can go around or go on Amazon as long as it's I mean, this style relay. And then we have our what's it called, our lines here. So each relay has I mean, different numbers for different things. So if I just take this off, you can see, there we go. So if you look at the bottom of the relay, you can see some numbers. So we have please focus. Kind of see. Not really. Anyway, so you can see, so we have an 87. This is an 86, 85, and a 30. So each connection or each closing contact in this relay has a certain purpose for what it does. So usually if you go online, you can kind of see what each of them mean, but majority of the time your 87 is going to be your power. I think the 30 is it the ground on this one, or it might be for the actual fan. But let me just take a look. So I had it all figured out the other day. Just make sure when you guys buy them too that the contacts are a decent quality, but pretty simple. You're just going to put it on. Okay, so yeah, just the way I had it measured out yesterday. So this yellow wire is going to be to straight power, and then we're also going to be using an inline fuse. And I think I'm going to wire it up to well, this is a 40 amp, so honestly if I just put like a decent 30 amp in there, it should be okay. That fan doesn't pull that much, I know that for a fact. But yeah, you know what I mean, you got to be careful, guys, too, with the size of wire you use, especially going to the battery. Our black's going to be our ground, but in this situation we are going to run this into the car to a switch, and then we're going to ground it to the chassis. So that's how you close your contact. And then the white's going to go to switch ignition, and then the blue is going to go to our fan power, which works out good just because the wire's on the actual wires on the actual fan are blue and black. So, and then the black on the fan itself. I'm gonna try to run it up here, that way it looks kind of neat in the wiring loom. And I'm gonna try to see if I can put them on one of those studs there, or I don't know, I might try to sneak it in behind here and put it underneath the intake. So I'm gonna figure that out. Anyways, we go inside the car here, guys. If you have the MK4, I've been playing a lot of Call of Duty lately. But anyways, if you have an MK4, so you're gonna want to remove this panel right here, and honestly it's just three T20 Torx, and you can kind of see where they go, and then the panel kind of slips out. Just be careful, because I ended up breaking one of the tabs. But anyways, so underneath here is our fuse panel, relay panel, I guess you can say. So from what I've been told, I believe the 75 is always hot. The 30s I think are switch power, or they might be always hot anyways. But yeah, so I'm gonna figure out what is what. And then we got our fuse panel over here, which I still have to open up. But you know, we're going to be doing a lot of wiring the next couple of videos, just because we're going to be putting the boost gauge and the fuel pressure gauge, or the oil pressure gauge in. So yeah, and then if you take off this panel, you can kind of see this screwdriver. So the screwdriver is in an actual hole that goes to the firewall, or through the firewall into the engine bay. So that's what I'm going to be running majority of my wires right now, especially for the gauges. And then I'm going to have to figure out what I'm going to do for my boost gauge line. I think there's another grommet somewhere, but yeah, today we're just going to focus on the fan. I got people coming over today too, or one person coming over to grab a couple parts, so I gotta try to balance this out. But yeah, so I'm just gonna run some wires right now. Obviously when you guys do this for the MK4, you're gonna want to move your intake system here, and then I remove this panel. It just comes off with some clips, just in case I wanted a passageway to kind of keep everything clean. And then this guy right here, there's like tabs. So this tab, you kind of just push back and then it'll unlock off of that, and then you'll be able to you know, get this guy out of the way. It just makes it easier too. So you just move it off here. So it just makes it a lot easier if you're looking to get to some access, so you can see. So the screwdriver is right underneath. There you go, you can kind of see it on the left hand side. So that's where we're going to run majority of our wires for this setup. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and just start running my lines, and I'll pick it up where I left off. Alright guys, so if you can see, so just like a little trick, because there's like a rubber seal that's on that actual wire harness that comes in, I just stuck a screwdriver in like you guys saw. I came from the other end though, and just kind of put some electrical tape on the end of the wire, so kind of just to help you fish it through. It's just like a small tip to help, you know what I mean, trying to push wires through pretty much an impossible seal is a bit of a pain in the ass. Well, yeah, I figured I'd show you guys. So yeah, the spool's inside the car, and again, I'm just trying to grab as much wires as I need with a little bit of extra room, just in case I want to do some different routing, or you know, if I want to get out of the way to kind of zip tie it. So yeah, just a kind of quick tip here. So this is gonna be the wire for the switch. You know, I mean, wire's expensive, so I kind of wish I would have got different colors, but just make sure you guys mark everything as you go to what's gonna be what. And yeah, it just kind of helps out in the long run. Okay guys, so here's the switch we're gonna be using. It's just a 10 amp toggle switch here. Pretty basic. Again, when you're choosing your switches, like this whole circuit's gonna be protected by, first of all, that fuse, the inline fuse, and second of all, the relay anyways. So you can get away with some low voltage or low amperage stuff, but yeah, pretty basic switch. And yeah, when I open it, I'll show you guys the install. I'm just debating on where I'm gonna put it right now. I'm trying to get this panel off, because what I want to do is, well, I might be able to put it somewhere down here. So right somewhere there. Somewhere where I can just kind of flick it on if I'm on the track or whatever, right? I just want to make sure that, you know, I mean, the wires should be okay if I go up through there. But yeah, it should be okay if I go up through there. And then for a fuse panel, so pretty basic. Just pops right off. Has a little door thingy, and then you can kind of see what everything does. So I gotta figure out what fuses are what here, and what's open and what's whatever. So, and then we're gonna add a fuse for some of the stuff. But yeah, I'm gonna work on trying to get this panel off here, and then here's the actual wire now for the switch. Try to get this all done, that way at least it's all marked. But yeah, and then to do your crimping and your wire stripping, just using a pair of these guys right here. Pretty basic stuff. You got your 3 colors for your sizes, and then we'll be heat shrinking today too with a heat gun. Okay, so now that we got this one, the first wire here stripped, always twist the copper wires in there just to kind of firm everything up, and then these ones come pre-stripped anyways. we're gonna go ahead and do our first connection. So this is just their standard 14 to 16 gauge butt connector. They're usually blue, and this one's kind of all funky looking just because it has heat shrink on it. So yeah, pretty basic. We're just gonna put in the one wire here and then crimp, and then put the other wire on this side and crimp again. You can kind of see the split right there, and then we're gonna run our heat gun on it just to kind of shrink it all up. Again, we're using the blue, so you just want like a nice, keep some pressure on it, and a nice good crimp on it. And then for the switch, it doesn't really matter, just as long as it's as long as it's crimped on good, that's all that matters. Okay, so there's our first one there. And then we're going to turn the heat gun on. Just be careful, guys, it gets really hot. You can see it can start to shrink now. Okay. Again, too, when you take your heat gun out of your car, make sure it's not on anything that's going to go up in flames. And there's our first one. Now I'm going to go ahead and still, it's a little warm still, but I'm going to go ahead and still electrical tape this. I just like to be double sure with everything. And that way, I have no issues at all. Okay, guys, so just removed the ground for what we're going to be using for a ground. So if you see these three guys here, you can kind of see right there. So this is beside that 35 relay. Yeah, right there, there's like a little stud. I think you can use this one here also. I'm not sure yet. Just be careful that you guys always disconnect your battery. Honestly, I haven't even had my my battery connected this whole time. I've been working on it really. So, especially doing wiring, you guys want to make sure you don't want to zap yourself. But yeah, so we just removed that. And then, yeah, what we're going to do now is get the ring terminal ready. And then we'll connect the wire to the switch, and that will be our switch for our relay. So our manual override for a relay, because we're not running any thermostatic anything for the oil cooler. It's just going to be on a manual switch anyways. Okay, now we got our ring terminal on for the ground, and then yeah, we went ahead and put on the other side there. So what we're going to do now is just kind of twist this thing off. You can see this has an on and off on it, which is already labeled. Now, when these things come from the factory or out of the package, they're already set to off. So I'm just gonna leave I'm just gonna leave the way the switch is, and then take off this little ring here, and then I'm gonna drill my hole, and then I'll be able to put this thing yeah, on it. And then it's kind of hard that you can kind of see a bit of a hex head there, but I'm not gonna be able to get a wrench in there. But honestly, like for where it's gonna be, guys, it's gonna be pretty good with just being hand tight. Go ahead now and just drill this hole. I just have like just regular drill with a step bit. Now, guys, remember that these things are like plastic, or wherever you're gonna put it in the interior. If it's like plastic or rubber or whatever, just remember that it's gonna go in there pretty fast. So always make sure you don't have anything behind there that's gonna cause an issue. I shouldn't have anything like that. I should be okay here. Other than that, also make sure your wiring's out of the way, because you just did all that work that there's no point in doing all this if you're just gonna drill through all your wiring. So yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead here and drill this out. So I just want like looks to be like a 3/8 kind of hole. Again, everything's flat behind here. This side has some brackets. So yeah, I'm just going to drill a small hole right there. Okay, so let's see how that one worked out. I'm definitely gonna have to give this interior a bit of a wipe down when I'm done, but I'm not worried about that at the moment. Okay. So there we are. So I'm gonna go on yeah, I'm gonna go on a bit just sideways here. Yeah, I mean that way you can kind of see the wires. They kind of flow with the bracket that's behind, this metal bracket that's behind here. So now we're just gonna go ahead. Now it's already set to off on the switch. So I'm just gonna make sure I have the on and off already set. Alright, sick. So okay, I'm just gonna go nice and hand tight up here. So now that is our switch. So there you go, nice and tight. So that's our switch installed. So yeah, you know, I mean, it's gonna be where my legs are a little bit, but I'm a bit of a smaller guy, if I'm honest, so I should be able to fit there no problem. I mean, if you're a bit of a bigger guy, you might want to think about putting it somewhere else, but yeah, no, I definitely won't have any issues with this at all, just because I'm pretty small. But yeah, I mean, you guys can throw them wherever you want. I mean, I have in my truck, I got switches up top for my my light bar and all that stuff. But yeah, okay, so that's done. I'm gonna leave this ground kind of just sitting the way it is right now, and then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna run my wire in for my switch ignition, which I'm gonna have to figure out. I'm obviously not gonna put it in this fuse panel, but yeah, I'm gonna have to figure it out which one I could use, because if I can use one of these, then that'd be pretty sweet. Alright guys, so while we're waiting to figure out yeah, what fuses inside do what for the switch ignition there, I'm gonna go ahead and start doing the relay, just because it's starting to get dark again here, which sucks because it's killing me on this build. But yeah, so we're gonna start off with the power one here, just so it's all ready to go. So I'm just gonna, I think that's where I want to put the bracket. Yeah, right there, and then I'll just self-tap it in like I usually do. There's nothing behind there that's gonna harm it. So yeah, and it kind of tucks in nicely, or the brake boost line behind it tucks in nicely. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and start doing this. Now for the outside ones, I'm gonna be using the heat shrink, the same thing. So these guys, just because it's a thicker wire, so these yellow ones, and then I'm actually gonna be using more heat shrink, just because, you know, I mean, it's in a harsher environment. I like to have everything really secure and tight. So so yeah, let's do this. And then so yeah, this is gonna be our straight power here on yellow. So this guy, like I said, we're gonna try to have this nice and loose here for now, until we decide to do everything the right way. And yeah, guys, just a word of advice here. So before you actually go through with everything, make sure you guys put the heat shrink on the wire first. So, I mean, stick it in there. That way, I mean, when you decide to do it, it will, what's it called? I mean, it's already on there. You don't have to, like, you can't cut it and then put it on, obviously. So. Okay, so we're gonna do the first round of heat shrink. Okay guys, so now we got our, so you can see we have our ground. So this is our ground with the switch that's on it. And then we have our power already hooked up, and you can see how tight and secure, and not only that, but also protected with the double heat shrink here. Now, you don't have to do what I did, but you know what I mean, I like to just make sure. Anyway, so now I'm just gonna run the wire. So this is the wire that we're gonna use for the switch ignition, which I think it's, from what I've been reading, it's the 75X that's in that panel underneath the dash. So I'm just gonna run the wire for it, at least I know that it's there, and then when I do get full confirmation on it, I'll be able to actually wire it in. But yeah, we're gonna do that right now. So that's gonna go to the white wire on the actual relay, and again, this is for our switched ignition power. Once that's done, we're going to be wiring up the fan, and then hopefully by then I'll know what the actual switch ignition source for these MK4s are. And as I'm going here, I'm just trying to keep everything organized and routing the best way I can. I mean, I'm going to have to put some wire loom in there. You can see over here I have a full bag of just a bunch of crap, really. I got a bunch of connectors, some wire loom. That's not the one I'm going to use, it's pretty thick, but yeah, just a bunch of stuff. Starting to get dark here again as always, but yeah, so let me get this thing on here. Again, we're just taking our time. I mean, it's better off just to do everything the right way the first time. That way, you know what I mean, you don't go through any connectors, because these things are ridiculous expensive. Like, honestly, that pack of 3, this is like 10 bucks. Like, it's crazy. But yeah, so I'm just gonna keep going here, and I'll show you guys when I get these next connections done. And then we'll try to go underneath and see what we can do over there. Alright guys, so as you can see, it's getting really dark out here. Yeah, right now we got our switch ignition wire on there. Still not on the inside. We still got to do our what's it called, so this is gonna be for our fan. But honestly, I think I'm gonna pack it in right now and continue the video tomorrow. So, guys, so it's next day here. So last night it was yeah, fun getting all this together. Our power is ready to rock. So there it is right there. We got our fuse. So I did some research on the fan. It's just a small fan, and honestly a 20 amp fuse will be enough, even though it has the relay, which it protects it a bit, but not it's always good to have fuse stuff in there, right? So yeah, this is just a quick inline fuse, and you can see, so the connections are done. And then yeah, I'll put the fuse in there, and then I will be putting it on this this ring terminal right there. So, and it'll kind of tuck up, and then I'm going to try to run it along the brake boost line here. Anyways, the ground is done inside. So if we take a look back inside, you can see it's the ground. There's our switch again, and then so this is our switch ignition power, which after doing some research is that yellow and black 75X, which kind of helps. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just kind of run this to there. But yeah, so our main thing at the moment is getting the fan wiring done. So here it is. Yeah, I'm just gonna run some lines down. I hate stepping up to like a bigger line, but I think we'll be okay. I'm gonna run 16 gauge, I think, because I'm pretty sure this is 18 gauge, but I run 16 gauge for the what's it called, the ground here. And I think I'm gonna mount it, I don't know actually, if I can find like a nut that will fit that thread right, I don't know, my show's in the way, so right there I can mount it there. If not, yeah, I don't know if I can find a way to make it work with this right here, the 10 mil that holds on the what's it called thing. Sorry guys, I've had a long day today. The heat shroud for the intake here. I might try to get that on there. I just want to, like, I want to have it nice and clean. I don't want to put anywhere at the bottom, mostly just because I really want to run I mean, all the wires up together. So I want to keep this whole circuit under its own wiring loom. You know, when I was doing the Camaro build, I had wires all over the damn place, and it drove me nuts, and I hated it. So I'm really trying to make this like actually neat and tidy. So you mean I could always put the ground and just self tap it into the firewall, but I'm not really too big on that one. So I'll have to see how this is gonna work. But yeah, right now I'm just gonna go ahead and continue on with the heat gun here, and then get my bag out. There's some wiring loom we don't need at the moment, but yeah. And then yeah, let me get this stuff done here, and then I'll bring you guys back in. So again, I mean, nice easy wire strips here, and then you know what I mean, have your butt connector ready to go on this side right there. So this is going to be our power for the fan. Like I said earlier, if you guys can afford it and you're not really on a budget right now, yeah, I mean, go out, spend the money, get actual like proper colored wires. I mean, if you have enough to do your own different color wires for different circuits and stuff, it just makes a huge difference. But generally, you like to stay with, you know what I mean, blue and blue in this situation. I'll go to the same blue wire on the relay, or at least use red. At least you know it's like a power output. But yeah, I don't know what I was thinking when I bought everything, but I only bought red in a certain wire size, and I only bought the black in a certain wire size. So kind of my bad on that one. But you know what I mean, I've learned long enough that if I just do one thing at a time, at least I'll know what everything does. And once I wire it myself, I'll kind of have an idea of yeah, where every wire goes. But yeah, again, just taking our time with everything here. Really, this doesn't take too long to do. It could take you, I said before, it could take you a couple hours really if you put your mind to it. But you know, I'm just taking my time with everything here. We got our heat shrink. Again, we're going to double up with the heat shrink on the outside, especially in this area, because this is going to be sitting in an area where, like I said, if I'm going to be around any sort of rain, which I really hope I'm not going to really be doing that with these cars, unless it's like a really special track that I want to do. But as far as dailying, yeah, this thing's not going to get daily by any means anymore. But I mean, it's also dealing with a lot of heat. Sometimes there's a lot of oil, or if anything does fail, you want to make sure your wiring is protected. We all have that fear of our car going up in flames, so yeah, it's a big time thing for sure. Let's put this guy together here again. Give it a final crimp. Okay, now we're gonna just get the heat gun on again here. All right, now so yeah, the wiring's done for at least the power, which means all the wiring on the relay is done. So I just kind of taped a little bit up, and then try keeping the ignition, or not the ignition, but the fan power wire and the actual battery power wire together. That way I can kind of keep it organized. And then what I'll do too is when I run the ground cable up, I'll go in the same kind of loom with that, and then I'll branch off, and I'm gonna go on this stud. I tried sanding down the best I could. I couldn't really get a wire brush in there, and I don't really feel like taking off the N75 here in the diverter valve, so whatever, you know what I mean? But yeah, so what we're gonna do now is we're gonna mount the actual relay. So if this was like just your regular firewall and nothing behind it, or should I say, sorry, if this was like your firewall and it went into the cab, like the cabin of the car, then yeah, I mean, I just have like a self-tapping screw, which I'm going to use here. But I would dab this in either some gasket maker or some silicone. That way it seals, because you don't want any fumes getting into the car. But yeah, pretty basically we have our impact here with 5/16 kind of like drive here. And then this is I think it's a number 8 or number 10 self-tap. And then yeah, it just goes in there perfectly. But anyway, so I'm just gonna kind of mount it. Nothing behind there. Perfect. So you can see, guys, the relay. So it tucks in. Everything nice behind the brake booster. I mean, very easy to clean up if I need to. And then yeah, I'll run my wiring loom up here to make everything look nice and neat. Anyway, so yeah, here's the ground cable for the fan. So again, we're kind of routing with everything down here. We got our main battery hookup, and then nice and slack, not too tight but not too slack, just enough to move. You know, I mean, if the chassis does bend, or I mean, I don't know what's going to happen when everything's in full flight here. So yeah, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to start running my wiring loom, and then at that point I'll be able to see how much of this tail that I can use out of the loom for my ground. And then yeah, it should be ready to go. What I'll do then at that point is probably hook the battery back up, just turn the ignition on and see if everything works. So yeah, for the loom, it's not like a pain in the ass to do, but I don't like doing it. This stuff's just like cheap plastic, and it's a bit annoying to do. But yeah, if you guys can get like good nylon stuff, it goes a long way. But unfortunately, I don't have that. This is all just like extra crap. So whatever. See how it goes. See how it works, and hopefully it turns out well. Pretty basic. You're just gonna run your wire, kind of like. I mean, you can kind of see the gap here. So yeah, right there. And then pretty much you want to start on one end and just slide the wire in. And as you move along, the wire will filter into the loom. But yeah, I'm gonna see if I actually have any more of this stuff kicking around, just because it will definitely help. And then after that, I'll show you guys yeah, how it went along here. There you go, guys. So you can see now, right now this is just like temporary, kind of like how I'm going to keep it, just because I'm going to be running my oil pressure gauge, which I'm yet to really kind of show you guys, but I will be doing a video on that there shortly. And what I'm going to be doing is, because all the electrical connections are going to come from the oil pressure gauge, are going to come out the same hole and then run them into the same loom here, and then I'll be branching off. But for now, I just have a couple spots here that are just electrical tape, just to kind of keep the wiring there. And then anytime I branch off, I just have a wire so that you know what I mean, the actual wire, when it branches off, all that natural kind of train that it has doesn't pull out of the sleeve. And then I just gonna have to put a little bit more down here just to clean it up, and then figure out, hopefully I can find a good spot to like zip tie this or whatever, right? Somewhere it's not gonna get too hot, but that's why we put this stuff on here for. But this will melt. Like, I can tell you right now, if it's near any like major exhaust parts or anything, like, it'll start to melt. So yeah, again, I gotta put my ring terminal on here for the ground, and then I think we're ready to fire it up. I need to definitely do the switch ignition inside the car first too also. Okay, there we go for the ground. I hope that's a good spot to ground. Usually if you mount anything on the firewall, it's a pretty decent ground location. So yeah, it looks way better now. Again, this is just temporary until I run my oil pressure wiring out and whatnot. But yeah, starting to get there, guys. One day at a time, one step at a time. Yeah, I'm just gonna do this last piece here. Yeah, this thing's nice and tucked here. I'm just gonna lower it down a bit, as long as the fuse can still reach, which it can. Yeah, and then hopefully when I mock up the what's it called, the front bumper kind of rad shield thing, I should be able to maneuver around. That's why I kind of left a little bit more slack in case I have to kind of tuck it around some places. But yeah, it shouldn't be an issue. So I'm just gonna put this last piece on here. Okay guys, so now we're going to just go back in here. So this is the ignition switch ignition wire, and then we have our ground cable that's here for a switch. There's some extra wire in here. I kind of cut a bit too much, but whatever. Yeah, anyways, I can just kind of zip tie that up, make sure it looks nice and clean. And then yeah, so this is 75X, which is apparently this is the switch ignition power here. And then these 30s, one is unfused, one is fused. I forgot what the 30A is, or maybe both these 30s. Sorry, both these 30s are unfused and the 30A is fused. And then the 87F apparently is just like a fuel prime thing, just from what I've been reading. But yeah, so I'm gonna just put my ring terminal on, and then we're gonna put our ground back up there, and then I'm gonna fire up the battery again and turn the ignition on, and then hopefully we have ourselves a fan. Okay, and now we're gonna put our ground switch on. So I'll try to keep this guy way out of here. Or what I can do right now is just kind of just leave it the way it is, and then once it's actually like mounted, I can zip tie it up. Okay guys, so here's our fuse installed right there. Yeah, let me get out for you guys. I'm sure you guys already know what a fuse looks like, but all right, there you go. Get out. Sweet. So it is right there. Just kind of pushed it in. Make sure it sits all the way down, and then yeah, close this bad boy up here just to kind of keep any moisture and any crap out of it. So I'm just gonna close it. Sick. All right, so yeah, I'm gonna use one of these terminals here. These are just 10 mil, and that way when I put like there's like a cover that goes over top of this whole contraption, it should be out of the way and easy accessible. Now usually I don't really go straight to the battery with a lot of things, but for this one, I don't know, I just figure it's a lot easier. And then we're gonna rock our negative cable back on, and then yeah, see if the thing works. So tighten this bad boy right up. Okay, now we're gonna put on our negative cable here. Just be careful. You can hear the fuel pump fire up there, or the prime, but okay, I'm just gonna tighten that up there too. So yeah, now both of those are on, so I'm gonna go in there and turn the ignition key on and see what happens. Okay, let me just grab this ignition key here. Okay. Okay, so there's ignition right there. Let's flick our switch, see what happens. Oh, baby. So there we go. So the fan is on, as you guys can probably hear. Holy cow, is that blowing nice and beautiful. Alright, guys. So, flick our switch. Perfect. Turn off the car here. Oop, I just closed it with the extension cord. Nice, okay. Sweet. That actually is so awesome. I'm so happy that that ground worked out. But yeah, that's the oil cooler, guys, installed finally on the GTI with the fan working and all. So yeah, I'm gonna end the video here. The next one, I'm not sure what we're gonna be looking at, but we'll take a look at what we got. I'm gonna try to get this boost gauge and everything installed. But yeah, other than that, I appreciate it. Just waiting for my neighbor to leave in his nice Ford truck. Hope you guys can still hear me, but yeah, thanks again, guys, for another video. I really do appreciate the views. I know I'm pretty quiet sometimes. I'm kind of shy just because I have neighbors outside all the time, which is fine. But yeah, if you guys have any questions at all, feel free to comment. You can subscribe, obviously, to the channel. And then if you like to, you can go on Instagram and check us out at MK4 Motorsports as well. Feel free to DM me there, even if you just want to chat, or if you want to I mean, tell me about your car or how you did things. I'm always willing to learn for sure. But yeah, if you have any questions, guys, that's how you guys can get a hold of me. If not, yeah, thanks for the view again, and I look forward to talking to you one more time. So ciao, guys.